So the Chinese Communist Party did a study on America a few years ago, a 10-year study. And they looked at why is America so strong? They thought it was our military. They said no. Then they thought it was a political system. No. Then they think it's the religion. It's Christianity. That is the strength, the moral strength of America. It is that Christian ethic that has made America as great and as strong it is. So if you're going to bring down America, you have to get inside the churches and weaken the churches. So we have looked at the history of this. Our movie is called Enemies Within the Church. It's available at enemieswithinthechurch.com. It's going crazy around the country now. It's selling all over the place. But it's showing the long-term history when the Soviet Union started infiltrating the churches in the 1920s, right up to the communist Chinese efforts in more recent times. But now we're looking at how actual cultural Marxists are infiltrating even the evangelical churches, even the Baptist churches, the socially, politically conservative churches. The people who elected Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump are now being infiltrated by Marxists to turn even those to the left. And if that happens, there will be no more conservative movement. There will be no more conservative presidents. We will have a left-wing country. We lose the churches, we lose the nation. Well, you would know from the Chinese Cultural Revolution, they would get people, all people in mass, and they would put somebody up and put a sign around their neck, capitalist, because their father owned a business or a farm. And everybody would revile that person. And so this was to raise the people's consciousness of class issues. Well, the woke movement is to raise people's consciousness of class and race and gender differences and political repression and race and American racism. It is communist-style brainwashing, Maoist brainwashing applied to race and class in the churches. It's the same as what the Chinese communists did. You know, the Southern Baptists, one of the most conservative biggest Protestant denomination in the country, now talks about critical race theory. That is a Marxist doctrine that came out of James Cone and others that basically talks about Marxism in terms of race rather than class. So instead of the working class rising up to take the wealth of the capitalists, now it is the oppressed peoples of color working to take away the wealth and the power of the white Christian capitalist patriarchy. So now they talk about, they've used Marxism in gender and race and class. Social justice is another thing in the churches. The emphasis on white privilege. The communists are very clever. They don't talk, we don't say, we're going to set up a system where you're going to go to the gulags if you don't agree with us. They don't tell you they're going to take away your land, they're going to indoctrinate your children. They don't tell you any of that. They say, we're here going to give you bread, we're going to give you peace, we're going to give you land. They tell the black people and the Latinos, we're going to equalize America for you. We're going to take away the racism. We're going to make it so you have a fair chance. We're going to bring justice to this land. They are liars. Communists are liars. The devil is a liar. Nobody gets up in the morning and says, I want to go to hell. I really want to go to hell, and I really want to live under communism. I want to live as a slave. No, they come to you and say, if you do this a little bit differently, you'll get some benefits here. You'll get more land. You know, they promised the Chinese peasants land. If you follow us, we will take the wealth of the greedy landlords and distribute it to the people. We will make it a fair, equal land. They are conmen. They are liars. They'll make it equal, all right. Everybody has equal misery. Everybody is a slave except for the very few, the Xi Jinpings, the Kim Il-jungs, the Castros, who are all multi-billionaires. But everybody else is going to be a peasant. Everybody's going to be a slave to the state. People say, well, if we don't like it, we'll vote it out. You can't vote out communism. You can vote it in, but you can't vote it out.